Hello and welcome to the Irresistible Podcast. This is episode 6 of us telling irresistible stories about ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And one more time, we get to welcome an awesome guest by the name Grishon Ng'ethe. I am so honored and privileged to have you at my seat. Thank you and welcome. How are you feeling?
Good.
Good.
Fantastic. Yes.
How's everything? How was your day? How
My day was
traffic?
great. It's a good Friday. Fridays are always good.
Yeah.
It's the end of the week. So we tend to end the Friday in very high spirits.
Because we also not working over the weekend.
Yes. Though for me, it's more of my job starts now.
That's why I just cut my tongue because because now that I'm not working, that's when I have time to get to see you.
Correct.
Yeah, and that brings us to what do you do in Dubai?
So for me, I work in real estate. I've been at it for the last close to 13 years. And this was my first job in Dubai.
13 years in total or 13 years in Dubai?
13 years in total, 13 years in Dubai.
You've been in Dubai for 13 years?
Yes.
All right. So you have the big bucks, guys. We're
Well.
talking to the big boss.
Well.
You know what they say about real estate, right? So yeah, I love that. I love
Yes,
that. Okay.
Yes.
So we're babies in Dubai, and one of the main reasons I welcomed you to this channel, apart from your awesomeness and your irresistibility, for sure, because all our guests are irresistible, and you
Yeah.
are irresistible. One of the reasons is because we wanted to talk about real estate and some of the nuggets. I wanted to, my hope for you, I think I said, my hope for anybody who's listening to this channel today is that they can get a pen and actually get to write something and take home when it comes to real estate. Yeah, so what is one thing that you know is not true that people would die on the cross about real estate? Mostly black people. I will ask that boldly because sometimes we stereotype things and then we put them and we own them. So what's one thing?
That you cannot own property for life in Dubai.
But okay, expound.
Yeah. I mean, Dubai in itself is created by immigrants. And the leadership had to sit down to make sure that they kind of give the security to the people who are working here, who have actually built, Dubai.
Yeah.
So with decrees and with the government coming in, they set up areas which are freehold areas. And these freehold areas, you can own a property for life. You can transfer it to your children can transfer it to their children. So just to put it in a very simple way is that it's a notion that because this land belongs to the Emiratis,
We
people
can't
cannot
own it because
own
also there's
anything
no,
here.
you don't change passports, there's not all those things.
Correct.
I also didn't know that. I just know that I've been doing a lot of research about real estate, and honestly, I'm getting chills as I talk about this because my intention was to begin the year with owning property, and I couldn't because, again, I hope we ever get to have another episode and we talk about
Sure.
like financial mistakes that people make when
Correct.
they first come here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was doing a lot of research and I was hearing a lot of hearsay that is unfounded.
Yeah.
So that's why I've been asking questions like, what are the facts? Like, what can I do when it comes to real estate? And do we all have to go buy land in at the river?
Well,
from here, you know?
Not necessarily. In fact, I always advocate for people who are here and for anybody who's coming to Dubai as a tourist, just to come and see the wonders and all that. Think of what this country or city or state can give you back. As opposed to you just coming spending your bucks here. Think of what can I get from here.
Yeah.
Because this city is built to give. It's not built to take.
And so if you think of it like I'm here to take, then you remove the mentality of victim mentality. You remove the mentality of this is what I am getting in terms of a salary. And I know we're rushing through it. We'll slow down and bring it back to you being African, you being Kenyan, you being in real estate, you being a man. Because Dubai, I've also seen the beauty and stuff like that, women being in real estate and succeeding more in it.
Yes.
It's like my career.
Yes.
More teachers are women.
Female
More than male.
Sure.
So tell us about that. Like,
I mean, in as much as we would want to put it that way, I would categorically say that most of the farms are owned by men. Majority of the population here is men.
Interesting.
All right. So when we see our sisters and our, wives getting into real estate, then it's a boost, because it cannot be. It creates an equilibrium where you are able to feed into the female mindset. And that is what I think has made real estate a very dynamic field.
It is.
A very dynamic field.
Yeah.
That it doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman, as long as you put in the work, you get the results.
That's one fact about real estate.
Yes.
If you put in the work.
Yes.
The one time I asked for a real estate job and then they told me there's no pay, it's based on commission. I was like, what do you mean? So I get what you're saying. It's really what you put in is what you actually get. The harder you work, the harder you will get back. And quick question, do you think that it's true? I have a myth that one of the quickest or the best ways to actually ensure that you're rich is through real estate. Is that one of... Is that a fact that...
It is a fact. It is a fact. Any billionaire worldwide can trace their source of wealth to real estate. If we're talking of Warren Buffett, we're talking of, the Tesla guy. We're talking about Donald Trump. All these people are real estate individuals. And you know what? The real estate is not just... It's not just what you buy the land for. It's about what does that land give you
in return. I like the statement you keep on using, the give you kind of. Can you really expound? Like what is that principle based off?
We come from a place, let me call it that way, where we have been brought up to own land. You were told, go to school, get a good job, buy land, build. All right.
It doesn't matter what, just build.
Just build. But we were not told that in the process of owning land, you also need to factor in several other things. Because most of the times are times we buy land and we never develop it.
I hope we're not running, because now my next question, I was going to ask this question and I was going to ask you, I have noticed it's something about Kenyans, and this is not a Kenyan podcast, but I am talking in context of where I come from. So most of us, when we get our first salary or we get, even I've seen people go to the extent of taking loans here, because here credit is easily accessible and it's easy to pay back. So you see someone get a loan and literally go and buy a land, and it's idle because... Do you think we over idolize the idea of just owning land without even like a plan? Like, what is the land for?
We do.
Yeah?
We do. Right. We do. And that is why I said we come from a place where we were informed that everything ends with land.
It begins and ends with land. Like,
you just buy as much as you can, you have the land.
Yes.
But we forget that, yes, it's an asset. But if it's not giving you that cash flow or that day in, day out where you need...
It's a dead asset.
It's a dead asset. So...
See, I've been studying.
Yes. Good job.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Mhm,
Good
mhm,
job. Good
mhm.
job. So that is something that the Dubai government realized way ahead.
Ah, it's built on that principle. I didn't even think about it like that.
It's
Because I'm thinking of a Kenyan city. Oh, wow.
because when we sell properties, we're not selling to we're probably what, 4 million,
3.09.
close to that. Yeah,
3.09.
3.09 million people in
studying.
UAE. All right,
Mm.
we're not selling to 3.9 million people
Yeah.
in UAE.
Yeah.
We're selling to 8 billion people.
Oh, in the world. Wait, what?
That's the difference.
Oh, wow.
So when I'm talking about a project that I have, I'm not talking to you
3
or
million.
just the people in UAE. I'm talking to 7 billion people who can own a part of Dubai.
And that's why Dubai is sold in the sense like it's
It's a
put in.
global hub.
That's interesting. I really didn't think about like Dubai being it could have been the victim of the Kenyan situation because we really have vast pieces
Yes.
of land.
Yes.
Like literally I may not know the road, but right now in my head I can see like a vast piece of land just
Seated.
fenced,
Yeah.
doing nothing,
Yeah.
not for anybody, not
Yeah.
benefiting literally anybody.
Yeah.
And I see how that now. Call for action. What do you think? What is one advice that you can tell someone who's just come to Dubai, making good money, say 8,000 dirham per month and above, or whatever good money is to somebody, or the amount of money they can save up, you know?
Now, one is to save. Big time. That goes without saying. Save a huge chunk of that. Number two is do not just save it in the bank. Put it in something that gives you
It's growing.
profit, probably on a daily basis or on a monthly basis.
What is that?
I would put it in the bonds. I would put it in money market funds.
Do we have that in Dubai?
Yes, we do have that.
Please tell me one,
Yeah,
because I've
we-
been
we-
looking
we-
for one.
We do have that. We do have that. And also back at home.
My only problem, and I will tell you this, I may like be on an extreme side, and this is a learning lesson, by the way. I hope you're okay with answering all our questions because my only problem when it comes to going home, I feel like, why do I have to simmer down when it comes to the risk? If I'm earning in dirhams, why can't I make the profit of a MMF in dirhams?
yeah.
Because I take it to Kenyan shillings and it already it depreciates.
Now, the biggest challenge here in Dubai is the requirements are very high.
For what? For an NMF?
For a money market fund, you need to have quite some good amount of money.
What is some good amount?
We're talking anywhere from 100,000 upwards.
Really?
Yes.
Because I did Google
Yeah.
and I found one in Emirates, NBD, and they were saying you can start with 2,000 dirham. And then I went to a bank and they didn't know what I was talking about. Like they
Correct.
didn't even know what MMFs are.
It's not something that is widely practiced.
Here in this country,
No,
because I have tried.
not at
That's why I'm
all.
actually curious because I have
not
tried.
At all. It's not something that is practiced, and the reason being, majority of the population does not look at settling here. They only hear
Which is one of the mistakes
as
that
a
we
transition, and then that transition grows to 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. You're still
13 years.
transiting. Yeah.
make. Yeah.
So that is the mistake that we do, and we kinda do not try and get this information. You know, people just are comfortable with what they have. They're comfortable with, putting the money in the bank. But I feel it would. I'm looking at it from the perspective of, if I have 1,000 dirhams here, that's 35,000 back at home. If I put it in a money market fund, that's currently, let's say, around 14% per annum.
I've even seen one for 17.
So
Unless I'm wrong.
no, it goes. There are some which go all the way up to 18%.
Guys, before we continue, what is an MMF? MMF, because we could be talking this way, like everyone knows what it is.
Yes. It's a money market fund.
Okay.
And we have institutions that,
Run.
are licensed by the government to run these entities. Yeah. And so what they do is they collect your money and they put it into government parastatals, development and all that, and the government returns it with interest.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's I live in an apartment, I think Danube. No. Apart from Danube, which is the other big one?
Bengati.
No. It's an older one.
Danube is not old.
No, yeah. Damak. It's Damak.
Yes.
So when I went to a meeting, like I've said, I've been trying to get into real estate
yes.
with it, but of course I've been here 2.5 years, so I don't have the exact finances to like go and say this, I can own this apartment. So I was looking for a way to actually like get my toe. I wanted to say foot, but I didn't even have the money to get my foot into the game. So I wanted to put my toe. So someone told me that there's a way you can pull in money. They're pulling money and then they're owning apartments, and then you can pull out any time. I don't know, it's a program.
It's more of you buy an apartment and you have
collectively buy.
Yes, it's a it's called Prepto, something like that.
Okay, I'm talking to the right person, because that's the name. That's actually the
Prepto.
name. Yeah.
And it just started the other day. They launched a couple of projects and they did very well. I think it's a very forward-thinking thing for the government to do.
Yeah.
Because I believe wealth is not really about owning and building and buying. It's about how much passive income am I getting.
You're saying
every
all the
single
right
day.
things. I like when I hear when you say things that I actually know. It's like affirmation, like the books have not been lying. It is true. Because I think we as Africans and Black people in general, and I am getting comfortable saying that.
Yeah.
Because I like being all inclusive, but then there are problems that are really specific to us that we can actually just tackle as they are.
Correct.
So I've learned that we as Black people, we have a bit of, I want to own the company 100%. I want the company to be Priscilla, just Priscilla. But if I was willing to sell you 80% because you're the one who's bringing in the capital and the experience and everything, and you give me 20% just because I'm coming with the idea, I am comfortable. I'm learning to be comfortable with not owning 100% and just owning the 20%, because then I own 20% here and I own 2% there and 2% there, and now it comes to the passive income conversation that you're having. So, and then I have something else that I'm building on the side that makes sense. And I wish I had this lesson 6 years ago.
Well, I wish they were taught in school.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah,
because we get to discover them way too late.
Yeah.
When you're into buying land without really knowing what you're doing with it. Yeah, while you would have put that money somewhere and it's giving you a passive income and you live comfortably. So I'm into that kind of direction, and that is why if you ask me if I would buy a property here and a property back at home, I'd definitely buy it here. Reasons being, if you look at the time frame of me recovering that amount,
recuperating it back, yeah, and also the climate, the political climate.
Yes. There's so many factors. There's so many factors that I don't think we are there yet. Yeah. If you ask me about where would you prefer living, I would definitely live at home.
But investment-wise,
we have the best climate. We have the people are there to work. We have good people who are educated,
and it's home.
and it's home.
Yeah.
But there's the the negative side of it outweighs it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So that bit makes me feel that my investment is more secure here.
And then does that, I love that, because it was a question I would have asked you, because does that mean that most of the time we invest in a false safety? Like it's home. They will never chase me, like that. But then you find, you've heard about the suicide cases that people die because they bought a land that didn't exist back at home.
Correct.
I'm not saying that it, like, fraud is not, but it's not a very rampant thing here. Like it's harder for you
It's
to
rare.
lose money
Very
here,
rare. Very rare.
And you also, like, you have a caretaker to employ back at home. You're not there physically. So business sometimes most times business needs
You need to be there.
to be there in
Yeah,
person. And then I see many people use a lot of finances in the name of running businesses in Kenya. And I don't say going back and forth to home is a bad thing, but then, like, business wise, it may not be as smart as you think. And also the absences of, like, I'll be there every weekend, and the toll it takes on your body, maybe you're paying for something and the return is not as good as
it should be,
as you think it will be.
Yeah.
Or even like that's what I was saying, a false sense of safety that we've created. It's home. And I had a friend, he's been here 9 years, and he's Cameroonian, and he told me, I wish we had a conversation, and then a few months later I brought the conversation about real estate, because I went and I came with receipts. I research, I love reading. So I told him, like, you see, if you had invested this time, he's like, I actually agree. And now I've learned to say that I was wrong, that I would have invested, because he's been paying rent. We calculated. He's lived in a 2-bedroom house. He's been paying rent for 9 years. So if he had bought an apartment 5 years ago, which would have been cheaper compared to now, or he had taken a mortgage, he would have probably been halfway paying through it, or stuff like that. So tell us one of the things that you see people continuously make mistakes when they could go the opposite direction of what is light and right. Like it's in the light.
Just to point on your friends predicament, if I may call it that way, it's really about the lifestyle that you want. It could be cheaper to rent as opposed to buying, depending on the lifestyle that you want.
Okay.
So it's not always that you have to buy.
Oh, okay. Explain.
All right. Now, let's say I want to live in a 3-bedroom in downtown for 5 years.
My head has shivered. 3-bedroom.
We are talking of anywhere 350 to 400,000 a year. All right. Now, if I'm to buy the same 3-bedroom, it will cost me anywhere 10, 12 million.
Okay.
So I'd rather rent than buy.
Because of where I want to live.
Yes. So because look, this city sells lifestyle.
Lifestyle, it's true.
All right.
Yeah.
And at times, if you do not have the capital, I would say live according to your means, or rather live according to the lifestyle that you want.
Okay.
Yes. It's not always about owning real estate.
Okay.
It's also about the kind of lifestyle I want to live.
Okay.
All right. And that brings us to the question that you just asked. And I would say that starting small is always something I always advocate for. Do not compete or compare. You want to start with a studio? Perfect.
Is this buying or?
Yes, if you're buying. Yeah. Do not compare just because your friend bought a 1-bedroom and you want to buy a 1-bedroom.
Before even we get to buying.
Yeah.
We talked before, and I told you I've lived in Sharjah
Yes.
before.
Yes.
And the mindset is completely different
Yes.
from Dubai.
Yeah.
We're not trying to air dirty linen
Yeah,
about the
yeah,
UAE,
yeah.
but it's just different locations, different vibes,
Yes.
I would say.
Yes.
So I lived in a place where everyone has been. I've met people who have been here 13 years.
Yes.
They don't know that it's even possible that you can actually rent a house
Yes.
as African.
Yes. And I'm not surprised.
Right, it was really surprising, and they don't know the process. They don't know the amount.
I'm not surprised. When I first landed in UAE, I landed in a place called Satwa.
Oh, worse than me. Hi, everyone watching from Satwa.
I landed in a place called Satwa, Villa 21. Yeah, met very good people. Shout out to Kaskas, Robert.
I think I know Kaskas.
Yes.
I know Kaskas.
And several other guys who have long left. There was Ketch. There was quite a number of guys who, they took me in. And they were very helpful, very kind. And we saw ourselves as a family there, despite the fact that it was a culture shock for me, how people lived, how things worked here. And at that time we used to come with a 1-month visa, so it was 28 days. You get a job, or you extend it for another month, you leave.
You can't extend it more than once, yeah?
No. So for me, from the legal background that I have, I really wanted to join a law firm.
Wait, you're a lawyer by...
Yeah, by profession. Yes.
We really have skipped a lot of steps. Yeah?
Yes. And I wanted to join a law firm, see what is out here. Yeah. And I couldn't because of a couple of things. One, there were law firms that required me to understand and know Arabic.
Yes.
There are law firms that required me to go back to school, which I wasn't ready.
Willing to.
No, I wasn't ready. I was coming here to make money.
Not to study.
So in my head, I was like, what is the next thing that I'm going to do that will give me freedom, that would put me in a position where I don't really have to search for people. People have to search for me.
That's your definition of freedom.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes. And in my head, I was like, I'm going to do real estate. I didn't know what it was.
I don't think, as much as like it's this booming thing now, I don't think it was that well defined then.
Well, it was.
It was.
It was. Because, this was after the economic crisis, 2008, 2009. Then Dubai was rebuilding, Burj Khalifa was already there, the metro was functioning. So it was just when it was picking. So yes, it was. And for me, it was more about, I want to make money as much as I can.
That's where I'm at right now. Please tell me how to make money as much as I can right now, please.
And the only industry that could not give me limits was real estate.
Because I keep bargaining for my salary, and I'm like, this is it?
Yeah. That was the only thing that was running in my mind. That I need to make money, and I need to make money quick and as much.
And as much as I can, please. That's where I'm at right now. That's what when I'm turning in
So,
bed, that's it.
Real estate gave me that opportunity.
Okay.
And I went into it. I only went for one interview in a real estate company. And they said, come,
All right.
start.
Did you get like a stipend or
commission? The cushioning was 3 months, around 3,000 dirhams at that time.
You said cushioning.
Yeah.
I told you need to give us a glossary. Like, this is what I mean when I say this. Okay, good. Okay.
So it was more of your transport, your upkeep, I would call it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was there for 3 months.
You're still living in Swatwa?
I was still in Satwa. When I got my job, I was still in Satwa. I got my job within 15 days. of my visa.
You really had to anyway. I
mean,
think so.
for me, it was get a job or get a job. Yeah. So immediately I got a job. I didn't stay very long in Satwa. I moved. So
I'm waiting to
so it started from Satwa, and then I moved towards downtown. So
why do I have a feeling like you live in downtown right now?
I moved towards a place called Boxpark.
Never heard of that.
Near the consulate.
Jumeirah.
Yes.
Okay, Jumeirah Road.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's a center there called Boxpark.
That's fancy.
Yeah, it's
In a
made
way.
of containers. Beautiful restaurants right there. Yeah. So I moved there and I stayed there for a very long time. We took a villa. I owned bed spaces.
You've done it all.
I've tried everything. And at some point, I also gave up because Dubai is not for the weak.
It will try you.
Yeah.
Oh, it will try you.
So I gave up, got a salaried job.
In real estate or?
No.
You even give up on real estate?
Yeah, at some point, yes.
Which job was this?
I got into a very interesting job, which was a kids' amusement play area.
But kids have money. I'm looking at you, but right now, with my my money making mind, I know I'm thinking of a summer camp, making a summer camp. So I know what.
There's one. It's called Cheeky Monkeys, and it was beginning. They were opening a new branch in Arabian Ranches. One of the pioneers who opened that branch. I stayed there.
What are you doing?
I mean, it was all about parties, happy time. It was
with
all
kids, or
with
it was
kids.
people of all ages?
Kids. So we'd organize parties, we'd organize indoor and outdoor.
When you say you're one
activities.
of the pioneers, do you mean
Yes.
you were employed?
Yes, I was employed, and
Okay.
we opened that particular branch. Yes, I think it was one of the biggest at that time. Yeah.
Is it still around?
It's still around. I take my daughter there today, till date.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So stayed there for a year and a half, and I was fed up. And I got back to real estate.
Why were you fed up?
I was fed up by the fact that I couldn't grow further.
Or the idea of freedom wasn't marking it?
Well, it wasn't. And if you compare, this is how I put it. If a company is making, if you're being paid 8,000 dirhams.
You're using the amount I used, huh? Okay,
Yes.
let's go.
If you're being paid 8,000 dirhams, your company has to make 10x of that for it to make sense.
But you're not even the only employee, so
And you're not the
probably.
only employee. All right. So for me, I was like, the amount of work that I'm doing here and the pay.
No matching.
Thank you very much. Masalama. Yeah.
Okay.
Went back to real estate. Never looked back.
This which year? How many years in?
We're talking of 4 years in.
4 years into Dubai.
Yes.
Okay, I want to ask you for your quest of risk, because all these things you're saying are risky. Like,
Yeah, I've changed companies, I think 4 times.
You just mentioned a daughter.
Yes.
Do you have family in this case when you're switching? Because one of the things people say is like, I have people depending on me. I have whatever. I can't make the switches.
When we came here, it was an adventure, me and my fiance back in the day. So we are risk takers. We decide overnight what to do tomorrow.
So you're saying who you
I mean,
choose to stay around with determines whether you're successful.
really does. It really does. It really does. And it also goes in with the kind of person you are, in the sense that you can. I'm a believer of moving and waiting for what will happen.
Not waiting for what to happen and then move.
Because again, if you look at the spirit that drives Dubai, let me just take you back to real estate. they build roads before they build towers. In any community. And they build these communities without the thought that they have been paid in full. People will come. You build. It's a very fundamental spirit that, it just drives me that you just move. Whatever that is you're expected to do, your path is already made. You're not here to suffer or to have bad days all the time just because you're afraid of taking that risk. Just jump. Just jump.
I am literally jumping inside. Like, I'm so excited. Like, I like when people give voice to the things I genuinely believe, because I subscribe to that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, you can't live on fear. You either choose faith and progress or fear and paralysis.
Yeah.
You have to choose either or.
Just jump.
Yeah. So
Jump,
that's
jump.
really beautiful.
Jump. And Dubai has made us fearless.
It really has done that for me.
What is there to fear? What is so big? What's gonna happen? What's the worst thing that can happen?
I like that because I think I also changed my mindset when I stopped doing that. Like, I started going to, my therapist said, go to the worst case scenario and live there a little. Like, okay, my job is stressing me out and I don't like it here. What's the worst can happen?
What's the worst?
Losing your job.
And then?
And so I think going there now, you become very...
Your mind opens up.
It does. It changes.
Your mind becomes... it now functions on the levels that it's supposed to be functioning.
It is. Because fear is very crippling. It's very...
It gives you the comfort zone.
Yeah. And it makes you not move, like you're saying. Yeah, because I actually...
So I've changed jobs 4 times. I'm with my current partner now, who I met at the very beginning of my career. So again, with me, it's more of relations. I love making relationships. I love keeping them. In fact, I met one lady I used to know way back, almost 15, 16 years ago. We met here in Dubai, but we've always been in touch. And I was telling her, if I was the kind of person who, when we meet and we don't talk and,
it does.
you're dead, I don't think I'd have made it this far. Because the relationships I've kept for the last 13 years are what is feeding me today.
Feeding you right now. I am learning.
There are people I met 10 years ago have been with me ever since. There are people I can call now who I met 10 years ago and they pick up my call. Just because we've kept that relationship.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of guy who will check on you. It doesn't matter whether you checked up on me or not, but as long as you came on my mind, I'll pick up the phone and call you.
So you're not from the cut people off generation?
Nah. For me, I don't cut people off. I don't see a place where I've cut someone off intentionally. Because again, I'm also the kind of person who'll stay away from toxic people. I don't associate with toxic. I have a positive spirit in me that cannot keep toxicity around.
Yeah.
So for me, I'd rather we call it, quits. I'll say hi whenever we meet, but that's about it.
Yeah.
That's about it.
But the cutting off, like, we don't, whatever, is not
for me, I don't.
Because you carry more than...
I don't do that because I also try to see the good in people as well. You might have wronged me at that time, but there are so many things you did right at some point. Yeah. So I'd rather look at those things you did at some point than look at just one that one
one
thing
thing
that
that I want to magnify and make it all about you, because that's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
There's a point we left at where we were talking about
Yes.
Africans really not thinking that they can actually rent.
Yes.
And I want us to build on that,
Now-
because it's a mindset thing. The way you say that, I'll bring you back to your fiance. You
Yes.
say that it's a, I don't know, is she still your fiance?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, fine.
She's
So-
my wife now.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because she was your fiance then, now she's your wife.
Yeah.
Now she, you said that the things that sometimes, I mentioned him, Vusi is a South African speaker.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
listen
he
to him.
says that you can choose. It's the truth that we have it harder to make it. It's the truth, but you
Yes.
can either hold on it either as an excuse
Yes.
or use it to propel you forward.
Yeah.
So you chose that me having my family here is the reason for me not to settle for less,
Yes.
rather than use it as a crunch for me to stay whatever I'm supposed to be. Because sometimes like, I can't just move like that. I have responsibilities. But you're saying I have responsibilities. This is why I can move the
Yes.
way I'm moving.
Correct.
So it's really a mindset shift. And so now I want you to build on that and tell us
Okay.
why Africans
Now,
think.
to answer your question, I think the African community has been brought over the years into accommodations. So there's no space of actually thinking that you can actually rent
Yeah.
or you can actually buy.
Can you expound what accommodation is? Because someone will sound like, oh, the company brought you and put you in a fancy hotel, accommodated you. Please explain what accommodation is.
I mean, it's an apartment where you share.
With so many
With
people
so many
in
other
a
people,
dormitory
yeah.
kind of situation.
Could be that.
Yeah.
Could be also an apartment where you share probably 4-6 people. You know,
That's the fancy one, to be
depending
honest.
on. I mean, it depends.
Yeah.
There's some who have had it nice.
Maybe I should introduce you to some of us who didn't have it very nice in the beginning.
So that is a factor. That is a big factor, because majority of the people were brought here by agencies, probably got jobs from home. But for us who came by the sheer spirit of adventure, let's come see what this city is, we have to think out of the box. And also, we have to think of this as home.
Say that again. Sorry, please say that again.
Yeah, we have to think as this as home.
Yeah.
Because this is where your life is.
Because most of us think about like there's a better place. You know, we're going to the US, we're going to the UK.
I heard someone say, you just come here, make money, go back home. But
That's
you
the
see,
story,
you
honestly.
see, if you ask me, that's a story of 50 years ago. When there was no internet, where you could not fly, where making a call you had to wait in line for a week. You know, now it's a global village. You can live anywhere.
In the world.
So make
The most.
the most here if you're here. If you're in Qatar, if you're in US, if you're in UK, that's your home for now. Make the best
And you
out of
can't
it.
make, because I see that fear, people making decision of like, I don't know where I'll be in 5 years. But what about now? What about now? Like, what are you doing for now that is beneficial and it's fully your potential? Yeah, right now.
Yeah,
It really is.
and you see the Sheikh Mohammed says, why would I have to build roads after 10 years? Why do I have to build hospital in 5 years? Why do my people have to go to school or university after 10 years? I want it now. Let my people enjoy it now.
Okay.
He wants everything done now. I mean, you're driving. You pass on these roads. Yeah? In the morning, the road is on this side. In the evening, it's on the other side. Because that is how he moves this city. That is the spirit of this city.
I really want to tap into that spirit, because sometimes we've talked about like how you take so long in like thinking about what to do. Just do it. See
Do
if it
it.
works. If it doesn't work, then try again. And
If it doesn't work, it's lessons learned.
true. And this city is really the epitome of that. Like, think about it. This is a literal desert, like literally. But yeah, like you're saying, genuinely, like I know it sounds like an exaggeration,
Yeah.
but literally you could pass and the road is here, and in the evening,
The road is done, and you're wondering,
it's
when did they even do this? You
It
know,
really is
you
complete.
pass on roads. Our adventuring spirit has taken us to places that I don't think majority of the people have been.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we have a group, we call ourselves Dubai Voyagers, and we
Is it
take-
for fancy people? Because why don't I know about this
we
group?
take cars, we take our cars, we take our families, and
Oh, families, that part. That
we
part.
move. We move.
It's very sad.
Just a few days ago, we had a good road trip to Musandam. 3 hours drive, and you get to see some of the best views you can ever see. You know,
Yeah.
and it's not that people cannot do it. It's only that people do not know how to. They do
Yeah.
not have that community.
But you also have to move, because I remember before, right now I can drive to
Yes.
whatever, but before I had a car, before I could even drive, I used to, because not many people are doing that, and I used, like I said, I used to live in Sharjah, and sometimes information maybe whatever,
Yeah.
but I used to go online and I
Yeah.
would search like what are people doing in Dubai, and I would go for these trips. They usually come to your doorstep
Yeah.
or in Sahara Mall, and you'd pay 70 dirham or 60 dirham, and I'll go to Korfakan, a very
Yes.
beautiful place,
Yes.
and in the whole car I would be the only person of color.
Yes.
Everyone else is different, but I would enjoy, I would meet people, and let me tell you what that did for me. It opened my mind, and now as I continue doing that, now that I can drive and I've met people my people, because I put myself out
Correct.
there even when I didn't have
Yes.
like what I didn't have a car
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
But you find someone who's been here 6 years and they've never been to Abu Dhabi.
They don't even know which direction. Leave Abu Dhabi. Ajman right here has a beautiful place where you see birds and, you know, you do canoeing and all that.
What's the name?
It's a place called Al Zahar. It has some of the oldest mangroves probably in UAE, almost 400 years old.
Yeah, but then we don't
Beautiful
do that.
places.
All we do is Kenyans. We will talk about the drinking problem.
we will.
Just
We will.
someday.
We will. So, just to bring you back to the question, I'm trying to put a picture of what we found.
Yeah.
You know, when I was doing my driving license, I had a lot of people question me, what are you doing? Why are you wasting so much money? You know, but in my mind, I'm like, dude, why would I let this son just cook me waiting for the bus?
You're validating me. Thank you so much. Because that time I didn't even have the money to do the license, because I was paying small but small.
We
Yeah?
all did the same.
Yeah? Oh, you did the same too?
Same thing.
Oh,
It's not like we had 10,000 and we put it in fact, some of us took 4 years just to do the driving license.
I'm judging. Sorry.
No, I mean, you pay for class. The next month you don't have money.
You forget the skills.
You forget
the skills.
You know.
Because I took a year, 9 months, and I was like, oh my God. I remember my big brother, he's not here.
Yeah.
So he was making fun. And every time in the family group, he's like, Priscilla is doing a master's in driving. It's like I'm taking too long to finish the
No.
driving. But they don't understand like the pain of having to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go,
Wait.
the file is already expired.
Please tell me that you took 4 years so that I
No,
can live
I
better.
didn't take 4 years.
Okay, I was just feeling nice about my life.
But I know people who have.
Okay.
I know people who have.
Yeah, but it's
And-
not in their control. Like
not
it's
at all.
Really, yeah.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. And I mean, the whole process of actually getting a driving license is just one.
Tedious.
Oh God.
Expensive.
Oh dear.
every time there's a
But-
girl who was seated there, I
Yeah.
told her, she came driving to
Yeah.
this, and I told her, congratulations on driving.
Yeah.
I don't even care whose car it is,
Yeah.
but you're driving, you have a license.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
I mean, I was demanding for a trophy or a certificate.
They didn't give me a gown. They need to give me my driving gown.
We should have had a graduation ceremony or something,
Literally,
Yeah.
honestly, I did a postgraduate here,
Yeah.
and I'm telling you the truth. I was like, you guys are giving me this thing for free, but the driving, I was like, why is there no party? I needed Sukuti dancers here now, please. For real, honestly, that was
it's
one
a tough
help.
one. It's a tough one,
Yeah.
and when you get it, you appreciate it, and that is why I can't. Even my daughter knows weekends are for adventures. We just have to be out.
That's so beautiful.
Be out there. Be free.
That's so beautiful.
Just go.
Yeah.
And you see, for me, Monday to Saturday, I'm dealing with bricks and mortar. I need just one day to see the water and the birds and the
Look
trees.
at the rhyme, bricks and mortar. I need the water. Okay. We see you, poet. We see you, poet.
Oh, yo, yeah. So that bit, a lot of us miss out on it. Why? Because we're not ready to get that information, or we think we know too much. We cannot be told, or we've been here for too long. You just
that
came.
second part though. That second part, because most people, they say that fools actually they think they know everything. So there's nothing you can actually teach them. Okay, yeah, you can continue.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
So when it gets to the renting part, it's just luck, or I'll say lack of information and ignorance.
Yeah.
And ignorance.
Yeah.
Yeah. And ignorance. If you look at a place like Sharjah, you'll get a studio at what? 15,000.
But there's still, let me tell
Yeah.
you, you will find someone who will get a 1-bedroom and rent you almost the amount that you could pay for a studio.
For a whole year.
Yes, and then you're paying there and you're sharing and you're having to listen to someone
It's
quarrel
very
with their wives
unfortunate.
and all that. Yeah, so it really is. I keep feeling like we have so much to talk about. Like, because right now I was about to ask you, like, what would you say to people who say like families are not a thing in Dubai, but then you
Family is actually the foundation of
Dubai. But I think it's because no, I will not put myself in that category. People have failed in relationship, or they do not want to succeed, and they just say, Dubai, there are no relationships and everything. And is it...
Thing is, Dubai, as I said, opens a lot of buttons or screws that have been tightened by where you're coming from. And if your partner is not ready to untighten theirs, then you cannot match. And that is Dubai for you.
So there's the mismatch. So you have to find somebody
You have
who's
to
willing
find
to...
someone who's in the
going
same
with
rhythm,
you.
in the same space. Yeah, you have
very
to.
interesting.
You have to. You have
I've never
to.
seen it like that. Okay, I do know like you have to have someone who equally yoked is what I call it, but the part that it's like the unscrewing, because the unlearning part
Yes.
is what is actually
Yes,
very
yes,
important.
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And you see, the notion has become the truth, unfortunately. It has
Okay.
been told too much,
Okay,
too
poet.
too many times, that it's become the truth.
Yeah.
But we are here. We came together.
Oh.
We've been together.
Yeah.
And the group that I have are all families. We talk.
Oh my
We
God.
get to know what is happening, whose school is going where, what issues.
Do I get to interview you and your wife someday?
Someday.
Someday, yeah?
Someday.
Because
someday.
that's really beautiful. Like
Yeah.
the whole aim of this podcast is representation,
Yeah.
because what you see, you actually believe. So I want people to see more of this, and so that they can actually believe it.
Absolutely.
And now, as we run out of time, do
Yes.
you have any one thing that you feel like you would have wronged yourself if you don't say it on this podcast today?
If I don't say it today, wow. Interesting. one thing I would say is, if you're in Dubai, if you are in UAE, let me just put it that way.
Yeah.
There is so many opportunities for you, especially in real estate. These opportunities of you managing the properties, these opportunities of you being a POA, these opportunities of
What is POA?
power of attorney. So let me just expound just a little bit. Let me say close to around 40 to 50% of the owners do not live here.
Oh, is that something of a... Yeah, I noticed that.
All right? They don't live in Dubai or in UAE.
Back to the point of you're not selling to 3 million, you're
Yes.
selling to 8 billion.
Yes. So there's an opportunity of you who is living here representing them. You just need to earn their trust.
We really need to talk outside of this. I need that money and that money first.
All right? There are so many opportunities there. And you see, yes, we are not pegged on salaries because for us it won't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
It won't make sense.
If you really want a big life for yourself.
It will not make
sense.
sense.
Make sense.
It will not make sense. And 9 to 5 jobs will never make sense. Unfortunately.
I'm not nodding. I just want them to come for you.
I'm not. No one has ever gotten rich for 9 to 5 jobs. You have to look outside the box. What else can I do?
The scalability.
Yes.
That's one thing I'm learning. Like, it has to be scalable.
What else can I do?
Yeah.
What more can I offer? What more can I offer?
That part.
Yes.
That part.
You have to know your value. Add on your value. Keep pushing. Keep
and then
working.
make an offer.
Yes.
To people.
Yes. And be the person who is looked out for. Don't be the person who you're looking out for other people.
Yeah. Because we do a lot of begging.
Yeah.
It's like please, and that's why we get
that pisses me off.
But we need people like you. Thank you so much, honestly, for people like you, because when you speak about with so much eloquence and power, like authority in your field, then we know that you can master a skill and be sought after in this kind of field. And honestly, to be honest, this conversation cannot end.
No, it cannot.
Because it's you're rich in the knowledge of so many things. And when I say that, I'm not joking. Like, I genuinely need to learn. And the good thing is, the more I read the books, the more I learn that actually the rich, it's a facade that we think that the rich don't want you to get rich. But if you find the genuine rich people, they actually want to share information. It's just that people don't want to ask.
And you see, what I like about what I do is the fact that I'm in a position where I meet very important people without really knocking doors. Without really going to beg.
That begging part, yeah.
And that just gives me the zeal and the momentum to wake up every morning and show up,
because you don't know who you're gonna meet. Tomorrow you could be meeting Sheikh. You don't know.
Not at all.
That's so beautiful, honestly. It really is.
So we that is one thing that I would say, that wherever you are, do your best. Not just do your best, add value.
Add value. So, I don't want to ask this next question, but so it's the same thing I would tell someone. You can't stay in a job for 6 years and you become bitter. They have not added my salary, because you've not also added value. It's the same value you had. You've not taken courses. You haven't done anything of value, and you expect that magically, just by the virtue of I've been here, or a false sense of loyalty, that your salary or your remuneration should increase. So that's one thing that is interesting. Anyway, before we start another conversation, I want to offer you a bouquet of flowers, because here at Irresistible we appreciate everything that you're doing. And thank you so much.
Very thoughtful of you. I'm not very used to flowers.
We're giving men flowers, not when they're gone.
Interesting.
Here and now.
I've received my flowers. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
All right.
much.
Thank you so much for tuning in to episode 6. We have loved the conversation. I am finishing the conversation feeling like I have so many questions to answer. Thank you so much to our guest. I appreciate him for coming, and thank you for tuning in, for liking, subscribing, sharing, telling a friend about this educational podcast. And I hope to see you on the next one. Stay blessed, stay irresistible.